Hi, this is Roger. This video is going to show how to run PeriPedal and the Moxie PC app on a Mac computer. So the problem is PeriPedal and the Moxie PC app are designed only to run on PC machines, but many people that have Macs also want to be able to use these softwares. So this video is going to show a solution to that problem. There's kind of three main steps that we're going to go through here. The first step is to download and install a PC emulator software onto your Mac. Then we're going to install Windows onto that emulator, and then finally we're going to install PeriPedal and the Moxie PC app. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into that first step. We are going to go to a website called VirtualBox. So it's www.virtualbox.org. This is a free PC emulator that anybody can download. So if we go to this website, you find the big download button here. There are two components of this that we need to download. So first, we need to download the platform package. So for those of you that are Mac users, you're going to find VirtualBox for OS X hosts, and then you'll click on this link right here to download the version that you need. And then the second thing we need to download is the VirtualBox Oracle VM VirtualBox extension pack. And there's just one download for this, so everybody would pick on this case. Now, for this video, I don't actually have a Mac computer myself, so on this video, I'm actually going to show how this is done on a PC. So I'm going to have my PC running an emulator that emulates a second PC, but you'll be doing this on your Mac, and then your Mac will be emulating a PC. So go ahead and I've already done these downloads. So the next step then is to install VirtualBox. Now this is going to be a little bit different when you're on a Mac. So you would do whatever the normal installation procedure anytime you install new software on a Mac. In my case, since I'm on a PC here, I'm just going to run this file that was downloaded, which is VirtualBox right here. So I'm going to go ahead and run this, and then we will just step through all of the pop-ups that come up from this. So you just keep saying yes. So we'll basically pick all the defaults for this. Okay, so now this installation is going on. So again, you'll just be doing this on your computer, so just keep accepting the defaults and advancing through the setup process. Okay, it looks like our installation has finished up here. So from this point forward, things should look a lot more similar on your Mac. So I'm going to click on Finish, and it's going to automatically start the VirtualBox application when that gets completed. Okay, now we need to install that additional extension that we downloaded from the VirtualBox site. And the purpose of this extension is to enable the USB ports to work on VirtualBox. So we go, I'm inside VirtualBox here, the application. So we go under File, Preferences, and then we click on Extensions. And then I think we click on this button over here to add a new extension package. And then we're going to, in my case, I'm going to the Downloads directory, but you have to navigate to wherever this extension file got downloaded and click on Open. And then it'll ask you if it's okay to install it, and we say Install. And of course, you need to read the terms and agree to the terms. And so now that's installing. And we'll just give this a couple of minutes to finish up. Okay, now the extension pack has completed its installation, so I'll click on OK and click on OK again. Now, now we need to work on getting a copy of Windows. So in order for this to work, we need to have a legal copy of Windows. And I'm going to go through two different methods for getting a legal copy of Windows that we can get installed. The first method is to purchase Windows 7. And so I'm gonna minimize VirtualBox for right now. And you can buy a copy of Windows 7. For example, I have it shown here on Amazon. So the version that you most likely want is Windows 7 Home Premium, and most likely you want 64-bit. I'm assuming everyone would be loading this on a 64-bit or a 64-bit machine. So Windows 7 Home Premium 64-bit. It's on Amazon here for about $90. You might be able to pick up a copy at Best Buy as well. But we need to get the license key in order to go to the next step. So if you purchase this, you'll get they'll actually send you packaging with DVDs in it, and there will be inside the packaging there will be a license key. So once you purchase this and you get the license key, then we need to go to another website. We're here at a Microsoft website at the URL up at the top here, and we need to download an ISO file in order to be able to install this properly. So if you go to this website and make sure you have your product key, which will be in this kind of a format from your packaging, and then you can go here. You can enter in your product key down here and verify it, and then start the download in order to get to the ISO file. Okay, so the second way that we can get a legal copy of Windows to install into VirtualBox is to download a 90-day evaluation copy from the Microsoft TechNet Evaluation Center. I will go ahead and post this link into the description below the video so that you don't have to try and follow it all. But I'll highlight the link here in case you want to try and read it. So once you go to this website, we can scroll down here, and you need to sign in as into a Windows account. And if you don't have an account, it's free to create one. So you just click on the sign in button. I've got my account information here. Again, if you didn't already have an account, it would just prompt you to create one. So I will sign in. And then it says registration is required for this evaluation, so they want just a little bit more information from you than what we've already given. In my case, it's already filled in, so you input the information that you're looking for. In my case, I just say I'm going to test my company software with Windows 10, and answer the rest of the questions, and then click on continue down here. 64-bit is the option we're going for. Continue, it asks for your language. And now it started the download. So now this is going to take a while to download. This is a few gigabytes, so we will just wait for this to finish up. And this is downloading it in an ISO format, which is the format that we need for installation. Okay, now that download is complete, so we're going to go back into the VirtualBox application, and now it's time to create our new virtual machine. So we're going to start with the new button, and then you give your machine a name, and in my case I'm going to name it Windows 10 because I'm using the Windows 10 evaluation copy. And if you name it Windows 10 or Windows 7, it's going to be smart enough to pick what you're doing down below here. So Windows 10, type Microsoft Windows, Windows 10 64-bit, or if you're doing the 7 option, of course, those would be 7s. We can stick with the default on the memory size. We're not, the applications that we're going to be running here aren't particularly memory intensive, so we're just going to leave that. We we need to create a virtual hard disk. So this is going to take some of your disk space and it's going to reserve it for the new machine. It's saying the recommended size of the hard disk is 32 gigabytes, so we're going to stick with that as well. And we're going to continue picking the defaults, so we are going to use stick with the VDI pick, and we're going to stick with dynamically allocated, and we are going to stick with these options as well and pick create. So now it's creating our virtual machine, and there it is. Okay, now that we have our virtual machine created, we need to tell it where to boot from in order to be able to install Windows. So we want to go over to the where it says storage over here and click on the word storage, and then click on the CD-ROM icon right here, and then we want to click on this icon and then say choose virtual optical disk file. And now we want to navigate to the ISO file that we downloaded, and this is the one that I downloaded as the free demo for Windows 10, or the free evaluation copy. So I'm going to click on open, and then I'm going to click on OK. Now that we have everything set up, we can go ahead and start the virtual machine. So I'm going to click on the start button to get it started, and this should initiate the installation of Windows. Okay, now we're to a point where it's asking us which language it wants, and we'll just go with the default options here. And then click on Install Now. And of course there'll be a license agreement that you need to accept. Okay, and we need to select the custom install because our virtual machine does not already have a copy of Windows on it. And we can pick the defaults and say next. And now we just have to wait for it to run through its installation process. Okay, things are continuing on with the installation process. It had to reboot the virtual machine a number of times, which is a normal part of the process. And now, essentially, Windows, the version of Windows that we've installed on the virtual machine is starting for the first time. Again, I'm doing the Windows 10 version. You might be getting different screens if you're using the Windows 7 option. But you can just click through. Generally, just accept the default settings. If you're using the Windows 10 option, at some point you will get a screen like this where you get an option, and it doesn't matter which one you pick in the case of Windows 10. So just pick one and then click on Next. Okay, so now the Windows has finished installing, and I'm in the VirtualBox application here again. And what we're seeing is the desktop of the simulated PC machine, and it's ready for us to start using. So we want to get the drivers loaded for the ANT Plus USB stick and for the Moxie sensor. And with Windows, this is going to work just like a Windows machine now. So we want to plug the ANT Plus stick into a USB port and wait for the machine to find it. You should hear a little tone chime when it finds it. And then we want to go up to Devices, and then down to USB devices, and we should look for our ANT Plus stick, and it isn't here yet. Oh, there it is, Dynastream Innovations ANT Plus stick. So when we click on this, and click here, now the Ant Plus stick is getting assigned to our virtual PC. And you can see down in the lower right here we had a message that said installing device driver. Okay, I missed it on the recording here, but we got a notification that the USB Ant Plus stick installation had completed, and now you can see there's a check mark next to the Ant Plus stick. Now we want to do the same thing for a Moxie sensor. So I want to plug in a Moxie sensor, and then we want to go to devices and USB, and in this case the Moxie sensors are using the FTDI USB simulation chip. So we want to click on this so that the virtual machine will have access to this device. And we should get a message in the lower right here saying that it's installing driver software. So we will just wait for that to install as well. In Windows, if you can get the driver installation progress window to show up, this is what you'll see when the Moxie is installing. It's important to note that this takes a long time for the drivers to install. It can take 2 to 3 minutes. And for the Moxie sensor, there's actually 2 separate lines that have to install. So right now it's just working on the first line. When this one completes, a second line will start, and then we have to wait for that one to complete as well. Okay, now the Moxie driver has finished installing as well. Now, if we were to just leave things this way, every time you restarted the virtual machine, you would need to go through this process again of selecting the devices and saying that the Ant stick and the Moxie sensor belong to the virtual machine instead of belonging to the host machine. But it would be good for us to set this up so that it automatically knows that whenever it sees the Ant Plus stick or a Moxie sensor, it knows that they belong to the virtual machine. So to do that, we're going to go back to the VirtualBox manager, and then we're going to click on our virtual machine, which is currently running, and then click on settings, and then go down to USB ports. And then we are going to click on this little plus icon to add a rule so that it always knows that the Ant Plus stick and the FTDI with the Moxie always belong to the virtual machine. And then one additional thing on the FTDI, we want to edit this rule, and we want to delete the serial number from the rule, and this will make it so that any Moxie will be recognized as belonging to the virtual machine instead of belonging to the host machine. So I'll just delete that rule and say OK, and say OK again. And now anytime you start the virtual machine and plug in a Moxie or the Ant Plus stick, it will assume that they belong to the virtual machine. And now that's done, we can go back to our virtual machine, and in the virtual machine we can find our Internet Explorer. And now you can install the Moxie PC app or the PeriPedal software exactly like you would install it on Windows. So real quick here, I'll just go through how to install the Moxie PC app. As soon as we get through a few welcome screens here. Okay, to install the Moxie PC app, we just go to www.moxiemonitor.com/downloads. And there it found our website. So now we're going to download the Moxie PC app. Okay, so it downloaded it, and now we could either view the downloads here, or we could surf to find that downloaded file by clicking on the file manager down here, the Windows Explorer. And in Windows, there's usually a downloads directory, and there we can find the file. Now I'm just going to double click on this to run, to install the Moxie PC app. This is usually fairly quick, so we'll just wait for this. We'll say next, and then install. And then now we'll wait for the PC app to complete installing. Okay, now the PC app installation is completed. I'm going to leave the checkbox checked to launch the program. So I'll click on Finish. And it should launch the PC app now. There it is. And then when the PC app starts, we can tell it to look for the COM port. And it found it. So we'll click on Connect. And now we have the PC app functioning like we'd expect. And then we can do the same thing. You can follow the PeriPedal installation is a bit longer, but you can just follow the standard instructions for installing PeriPedal just like you normally would, and then PeriPedal would run just as if it was running on a PC.